Hello, David Paul here. Well, yet again, here on the Rojas porch, it is hopefully for the last time Sawdust Armageddon. Not too bad though, certainly not as bad as before. So, what have I been doing now? Well, where do I start? I got the crane in, i.e. the boys, in order to bring all of this wood to the house. So I've got to stand right back so you can see the enormity of it. So this is these are all the chosen ones, you might call them. The rest of the stuff is for little itty bitty fit-in jobs, you know, what's left on the road and up in the forest. So these are all the nice stuff. And what this is for, and the job I'm engaged in at the minute, I'll start with this trolley thing first. What I explained in a previous video about this railway line thing that I'm constructing, and here it is. So I'm going to grease that up with candle grease or something like that, and nothing too slimy. And today, apart from supervising these guys bringing stuff over and cutting a couple of trees down myself, I've been constructing this apparatus, and the purpose of this is that it will slide up and down. So you can have a router in the second piece. I'll go and get the router and show you that in a second. And you can also have a saw. Now, as I say, this wonderful saw here, made by LU. Just take the guard back so that I can get it to lie flat. There is no power on this, so I can do what I like. Okay, that sits there. Now what I can do with that is I can if I wish, but I'm not going to. I can make cross cuts with that, but that's not the purpose of this device. What do? I have to put some backstops in here, a backstop here and a forward stop here, to stop me sliding off and just slicing through the whole thing, including the angle iron and wrecking the saw blade. I got a beetle on the inside of my glasses. Damn it to hell, these critters are everywhere. So this will slide to different positions, and the idea is that you will move the track along. As it moves along, it's only going to be kissing what is underneath by about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch. So it'll go along and it'll just cut a sort of groove in there. Then you move it along maybe 1/2 an inch, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, you do it again, and you do it again. Why do I know this is going to work? Because I've seen it working on rotary things, rotating and turning things using this technique. So it's going to work. If it works or not, it's sure going to work on this. So as I say, a beam will be placed beneath, and that will basically just machine up and down and produce this beautiful face to the wood. Now this wood has been cut very nice by the guy with the chainsaw. But the problem is that you know, he's only a man, you know, and he can't do things perfectly. So you'll find that that face is not perfect, and also you got the squirrel marks on it and so on. I could take a planer to that, spend all day planing, but I'm not going to do that, because then I have no reference other than my own eye. No, I need a machinery system where I can guarantee that the thing is level. Also, these have been lying a little while, so they've started to dry out, so the original cut he made anyway will be twisted and so on. Okay, I'll go and get the router. Huge big slabs here as part of the cut of the original tree. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but like everybody likes these things, so let's have them and make a coffee table maybe, I don't know. They never look right, those things. There's something fundamentally that I need. I'll find a job for those. So the best thing is to just let them dry, face off the top maybe, and see what you can do with it later. I've seen guys matching them together to make a tabletop, where they get the, you know, they route them in together so that you get a huge top. So here is the location for the second device. Just put that in there. So that there, the router goes there. So you've got a multiple table here. I was going to make separate ones. I did even say in my video I'm going to make separate tracks for these things. And then I realised that it's just more work. And one bridge will actually do all these jobs. Now what's left of this, so you've got your saw there, your big fat router, and you've also got a little bit of space at the end there. And what I can do with that, I'll put another strip across there, and I will measure that up in reservation for my small router. Although I will not fit that yet, I'll just put the beam across and leave it at that, because I don't know if I need it or not, but you know, it'll be there ready for if it's required. Now, this is really pushing it, but I see no reason why not. Take all of these off, fit some hangers underneath, and you'll be able to hang a chainsaw there, and you'll be able to have a chainsaw mill if you wanted one. Do I want one? Yes, I always wanted one of these. I wanted one of these forever, you know. I really wanted one of these. But in all honesty, now that I got started on this and I've got guys working with me, do I really need them? You know, I mean, they will. What I will do, even if I cut the boards myself, and I did a perfect job, I'd still have a chainsaw finish. So I'd be routing the surface to finish it. I can get the guys to do that. So I can get them to cut the wood maybe half an inch too fat for what I wanted. So I want 2-inch floorboards. Get them to cut 2.5-inch floorboards, and that'll give me a lot of meat that I can machine off and get the thing level, even on both sides if I want to. So to be honest, I don't know whether I want that chainsaw mill apparatus, and it has the potential to be dangerous if you're not careful. So my dealings with the chainsaw involve going, cut the V in the tree, cut the back cut, drop the tree, switch the saw immediately off, get out the way, clip the branches off, job done. Not like long-term machining all day with a chainsaw. For a guy with ADHD, it's not really a good job. You get distracted a minute and your leg's off. So that's that. That's all of that. So what do I do now? Well, the next part of the project, I have all the jigging tools all done here, ready to roll. And I've got these monster pieces of wood. One of them, I think this piece of wood here is 19 feet long. The purpose of all of these pieces of wood is to form the uprights for, let's call it the cabin initially, because it's only one room of the house. To form the uprights. Okay. So how tall are these uprights going to be? Well, I looked up on Google, and it said that the ceiling of a tropical house should be somewhere between 8 and 9 feet high. If it's too big, it makes it look stupid, and if it's too small, it just makes it look whatever, you know. So I looked at that and I thought, that's the answer. Go for 9 feet. But of course, this is going to be a single shed roof. So what I have decided is, I looked at a set of triangles. They're called Pythagorean triangles. What's good about these, like the very first one is 3, 4, 5. If you make a 3, 4, 5 triangle, you will always get a right angle, and it's a method that you can use if you're stuck in the jungle somewhere and you need a right angle, do this 3, 4, 5 thing. Whatever the things are, it might be a twig. 3 lengths of that twig, 4 lengths and 5 lengths, and you will get your right angle triangle, and then you can hammer it together or glue it together or tie it together or whatever. But you've now got a right angle device to give you right angles. Great. But there's an infinite set of these things. So you can have a very steep one like your 3, 4, 5, or you can have lower and lower and lower ones going off into infinity. So obviously you've got to choose something realistic, because you're working in, say, millimeters to the most, you know. So I have chosen a one which is going to generate a roof pitch height of 3.14 feet at one height, at one end. And the idea behind that is that it will guarantee that I give myself a right angle. So in other words, I am guaranteed by the mathematics, not by anything else, by being a good person or measuring things right. The mathematics will deliver for me a right angle. So in other words, the roof will be true. The roof will be true with the vertical, and then the whole thing will look straight. And yes, I can measure it with lasers and this and that and the other, but this will guarantee it. I mean, I can create the triangle roof system, assemble it, drill the bolt holes, do it all down here, and take it back up to Scotland with the boys. A lot less wood after I've finished. These will be a lot lighter, and then put them all together just as a sort of kit, really. And that will be a one-day job where we work all day. It's going to be a tough job. Now, the problem here with these two, so say if I'm going for a 9-foot ceiling at the lowest point, the beams, the posts go in pairs, 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. The other guys over here are not a problem. They're fine. They're straight. But these two guys are the nuisance problem. So what I have to do is, what I have to do yet, which I haven't done yet, is to go through these and find a line which will run true for 9 feet. In addition to the 9 feet, I also have to have an extra half of a foot, which is like a sort of key in to the floor, where it fits into the floor and gets bolted in. Fits in against the floor beam. So it slots in and it's bolted through. So that's 6 inches. So it's 9 feet, 6 inches. And to the very top of the post is the top of the lowest part of the roof. The 9-foot part of the roof. Okay, there we are. And then at the top of each board I have to put a slot in, which will take the roof trusses being fitted into them. So this is the big problem. The rest of them are not. But in the process of cutting this, it looks to me like this is the straight part of the tree. So what I got to do is I got to take out of this straight piece, which is 9.5 feet long, or 9 feet certainly. The last bit doesn't have to be absolutely true, because as I say, it's going to get stuck in this bolt in connection with the floor beams. So that is the most difficult part, followed by these guys. Now, as I say, this is 19 feet tall, 19 feet long. However, what you need is 3.1 feet plus the 9 feet. What's that take us to? 3, 9, 12. 12.14 plus a half of a foot to go into the floor. So that's 12.64. 12.64. And bearing in mind that these boards are 19 feet long, that gives me a lot of scope to say chop a third of that off. So when the boys come to take it back, they'll be machined down to more slim dimensions, bits cut out of them and so on. That's not going to be the slug that it was bringing it here. I did offer to chop it down with the chainsaw, and by the time I got the point across, like, they just grabbed it and lifted it and hoisted it and brought it over. These are from the original Apitong tree, these big guys here, and that one over there. My God, my foreman is just amazing. He doesn't forget anything. There were 3 of them, and I thought for a second, oh, he might have left the 3rd one. No, he didn't. They're all there. So what I told him to bring, he brought. Now this one, there's something special in here. You might want to try this, folks. I always wanted to make a log style rustic bed. I'm wobbling around like crazy here. I better get off here. I can't concentrate on standing on it and thinking at the same time. So the idea is that if you can imagine, these are the leftovers of the tree, out of which I kind of, but they're all over the place and like rustic looking, which is exactly what I'm after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to machine these so that they have nice true faces and back, and I'm going to cut them to a desired length, which I can't remember the height, but this one's already half cut through at that height. So this will probably be part of the foot of the bed. I'll cut another one there, and this one at the top here will get sliced up maybe into 3 pieces, and this piece, I'll get a piece out of this, but I'm going to run short because they're going to be stacked like that to form the back, the head post of a bed, but there'll just be a stack of log slices like that. They'll look sensational, and they'll have a very sharp, clean edge to them, so you'll be able to like put things on the top, like your mobile phone, or God knows what you want to put on the top of your bed. And the top of the edge of the log will be the only top to the bed. That's all you'll have. Visually, that will be all there is. Not like a capping rail going over or anything like that. So they'll kind of look like a bunch of trees in the forest. That's the look I'm going for. So the thing I have to do with these, I have to get as much out of these as I can. And as you can imagine, they're going to be like 4 pieces for the foot of the bed. That will barely make a single bed. Then 3 pieces for the head of the bed, plus maybe at a push I might get 2 out of that, whatever. So I'm now snookered. I don't have enough stuff, but not really, because what I do is simply, let's walk over here. That's what I said, my foreman is magnificent. I have these pieces here, which I'm going to have to machine up to form short bits, which will go to the bottom of the bed, and that will increase the width of the bed, so I'll get more out of them. I may be able to split them down the middle. I don't know about that. I'll think about that. And then I'll get like 6 pieces. You don't want to push it too far and make it look skimpy. When I do some cutting of these trees, these logs, and shorten them, there will be leftover length pieces, and I can incorporate them in the bed. There is with one caveat, which is the fact that it's not the same wood. So as an old workman, technician of mine, technician I used to know years ago, used to say, a man on a galloping horse will never notice. Well, I think you would, but I think the way to get round it, because this is a different species, this is mahogany and these are Apitong. A lot of these tropical hardwoods look very similar. So the way to get around it is simply to not bunch them all together. So maybe you'll put a mahogany which is darker in the middle, so they'll just look like, you know, general variation. But if you bunch all the almost blacks together and really dark browns, and then the lighter gingery looking things together, they won't look right. I have seen in a house across the road here mahogany beams on the ceiling, and they looked amazing, but that was like 20 years ago, and they're probably like really like boot polished by now. It's an unfortunate fact of life with wood, it just darkens. So we'll see if I don't think I'll be here in 20 years, so what the hell. See if my children like it, or whether they just throw this old bed out. This is certainly not the Portuguese style. Portuguese style is lighter in construction, and as I've often said, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, all turned things and old-fashioned Victorian looking things, which has its charm as well. It's beautiful in its own way. So that's it, that's what's going on at the moment, and hopefully the next report I will be putting well, I'll be showing some of the results of what I've done with this, and also you know, I'll have cut some keyholes in for the beams, and I will also have shortened the lengths of them. And today I think, I don't know, I'll see how I feel. I'll have a cup of tea and a wash, because I've been eaten to death all day by mosquitoes, and I'll see how I feel, and if I feel in the mood, I will get my chainsaw out and shorten some wood. So, atilago, makita tayo sa kana. See you later. Jesus be with you.